Hey, Mr. Joket, first of all, welcome to Sarajevo.
Thank you.
How long haven't you been in Sarajevo?
Well, we just reviewed that, and my last time here was in 1985-86 after the first season of the Bosnia Hockey Club.
After that, you didn't come back to Sarajevo?
I came back to Sarajevo in 1990 for a Christmas visit, and then for the reunion tournament in 2010 at Zetra.
Has it changed a lot since your first come to Sarajevo?
My friends have not changed. Obviously, I think the city is always changing, and I haven't seen much this trip. I've been just here 24 hours, so I'm looking forward today and tomorrow to see a bit more, and maybe more in the future.
What's your motive to come back after all these years to Bosnia and Herzegovina?
The Ice Hockey Federation here, the Bosnian Federation, invited me to talk about the opportunity to become part of the national program, and that's why I'm here.
What kind of impressions and memories do you have from that period in Yugoslavia when you played for Bosnia?
It was a very special time. Obviously, post-Olympic Games was a different period here in the vicinity. The people obviously were used to an international crowd being here on the doorstep for the games, and following that, I think that enthusiasm and that spirit carried on to our first year of ice hockey in Sarajevo. So for me, it was very exciting. I was young, I was hungry, and wanting to prove myself. So I hope that came through.
What was like to live in Sarajevo in those years, and what kind of impact did that time in Bosnia had on your future career, and what did you do after Bosnia?
Well, I had a very good coach, Jaroslav Jandorek, and I know Jaroslav was very influential here over the time he spent. And I learned how to focus, and I learned that how important it was for the people that I, give 120% every time I was on the ice, and that pushed me to try and be the best I could be. Obviously, the 1 year I was here, I was lucky enough to be, the national's top scorer, and I believe that record still stands today. And following that, I continued to play. I played in Germany for a couple of seasons, and England, and then I went on to work in the National Hockey League in the NHL for 7 seasons with the Ottawa Senators and the business side of sport.
Since you've mentioned that you were the top scorer, you had one deal with people from Bosnia. If you score 50 goals, can you tell us about that?
It's a bit of a funny story, but Mr. Sabahudin and I were negotiating my contract, and we got to the point of scoring bonuses, and it was quite an animated discussion, because when I got in discussion about how many goals, 10, 20, 30, when I got to 40, the discussion was almost, why are we talking about this? And then I went to 50, and it was almost laughed at. And sure enough, we got to that point in the season with 2 games left and 48 goals, and we made it happen. So yeah, it was an interesting milestone to hit, but at the time of negotiation, it was almost a pipe dream.
And for the end, everyone remembers that game against Olympia when it was 3-2 for Bosnia, and you scored the 3rd goal in last minutes. How do you remember that game?
I will never forget that, because I think it was like winning the Stanley Cup here. The arena was full, and I remember the play perfectly, and Don Jameson passed the puck over to me, and I was being chased, and I was pulled down on my knees, and was lucky enough to find the puck on my stick and shot it up above the goaltender's shoulders, and less than a minute to play, and the fans absolutely went crazy. So I think it was probably the biggest day of the year, and who knows how that has stayed in people's minds. But I would like to see the video again.
And do you think we can celebrate like that again, a game of hockey in Sarajevo, in Bosnia?
I think that it's important to have a plan, and also to start with some some fundamentals. I think what's happened now is the federation has an opportunity to compete again at the Division 3 level through the qualifications in February. I think it's important that the public comes out to support it, and I think it's important that the players, when asked to compete for their country, that they take pride and work diligently for whoever is going to take this opportunity to lead, and hopefully they'll be successful to qualify in the third division for the IHF.